So I welcome you all for the online panel discussion on education and employment opportunities in USA, Canada, and Germany vis-a-vis the Indian scenario. So today we have with us our alumni Ajay Pamar, mechanical engineer from 2013, Shashav Trivedi from electrical engineering 2014, Nitesh Yadav, environmental engineering 2013, Yash Shah, mechanical engineer 2013, and Noor Patel, environmental engineering 2013. So we'll be starting the session with a brief introduction. Before I start that, I would invite Principal Dr. V.D. Dhiman sir to say a few words about this.
Thank you, Yadav sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay. Good morning, all of you. A very warm Sunday. We have with us our alumni. Majority of them, what I heard, was 2013 and 14 pass out. It's nice that we'll be having a very fruitful panel discussion. The scenario where we are right now in the pandemic conditions and the youth, specifically 2018-19 pass, 2020 pass out students, may be having a lot of doubts in their mind what all to do, because right now even majority universities they have their educations ongoing on the online mode, as well as many countries have changed their policies, right? So we would like to hear from our panel members, specifically when they are the alumni of this institute. Uh, I think they will enlighten the audience with something which is really the scenario. I have seen that on the physical mode, we keep on inviting the experts who are dealing with the immigration and all from, I mean, they are majority consultants where they come and maybe an hour session they discuss where more of it is a marketing type, but I'm sure the alumni will be able to put before us the true picture. So I congratulate Professor Yadav and his team. I've been seeing many events uh, have been organized recently, right? From Armed Force, we had, I think, 15 days back, one webinar. I was partially able to attend the Ajay's session, which we had earlier, and Yash Shah's also. So I think I should not be speaking more. It's time where we would like to hear from our alumni uh, what all they feel and what all the doubts which will be there in the mind of the participants, specifically the students who are joined and will be shortly joining. So I welcome you on behalf of the institute, and I'm sure in near future and coming days onwards also you'll be associated with us in the same manner, and you'll oblige. Thank you on behalf of institute. I welcome you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dhiman
Vipin
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Uh, I would like to invite Professor Gechi Bua sir to say a few word about the session today. Bua sir.
Yes, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay, so a very good morning to all of you, and happy to see our students from DGGC Surat alumni for participating in panel discussion. At that time, I was not here. I joined DGGC Surat in 2015. So maybe our alumni are not knowing me, but uh, if you permit, I can view put my view also related to current educations in India and abroad. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we'll now start with the brief introduction about the speakers today. All the participants are requested to keep the mic on mute and do not click the present now icon here. So once the speakers and the panelists have spoken about their own views and we open the forum for discussion, then you may unmute and you can start saying something. So today we have with us Mr. Ajay Panwar, who is a graduate in mechanical engineering in 2013, presently in USA. We have Shashav Trivedi, graduate in electrical engineering in 2014, presently in Germany. We have Mitesh Yadav, graduate in environmental engineering in 2013, presently in Canada. We have Yash Shah, mechanical engineering graduate from 2013, presently working in India. We have Ur Patel, environmental engineering graduate in 2013, who earlier worked in US and now presently working in India. So we, as Dr. S.S.N. Gandhi Government Engineering College, Surat, we welcome you all for today's panel discussion as activity under Alumni Initiative. So these are our panelists. As I just briefly mentioned, I'll be working as a moderator just to help it. But the aim of today's session is to have discussion and disseminate information regarding the study and job opportunities in abroad, these three countries. This is our alumni committee of the department of the college. Professor Darshan Mehta from Civil Branch, Professor Rachna Varotaria from Mechanical, Professor Rupal Patel from Electric Branch, Professor Tejas Patel from EC Branch, from Professor Dikshit Patel from Environmental Engineering Branch. So our first panel member, he is Mr. Ajay Panwar, who is Mechanical Engineering graduate in 2013. His bachelor and master's degree is in mechanical engineering. He has also done MBA in strategy and marketing. He is presently engineering program manager in Medtronic, which is a health device manufacturing company. His current location is San Francisco, California. Our second panel member is Mr. Shashav Trivedi, who did his in electrical engineering in 2014, and since 2015, he did Master of Science in Power Engineering from Duisburg Essen University, Germany. Since June 2020, he has worked as protection engineer at Mitnetz-Strom GmbH, Halle in Germany, and from May 2018 to 20, he has worked as project engineer at P&M Power Consulting, Erfurt in Germany. Our next panel member is Mr. Mitesh Yadav, who is environmental engineering graduate in 2013. He has been in Canada since 2014. He did his master's in environmental from Canada, and he has worked in various industries, restaurant, banks, investment groups, logistics, supply chain, etc. He is presently working as land coordinator, overseeing sales and distribution of forestry products in US and Canada wide for BC state government. Next panel member is Yash Shah, who has done, after his graduation, he has done MBA in finance from Gujarat University. He is a certified financial planner. He has earlier worked in Godrej and Boyce Manufacturing Company Limited, Mumbai as graduate engineer trainee. He is right now working in Snazzy Wealth Creator and managing the finances of various reputed organizations. The next panel member is Mr. Urv Patel, who has done his environmental engineering in 2013. He has 5 years of experience in field of wastewater, water treatment, groundwater modeling, air quality modeling, and river water quality modeling. He has done his master's in environmental engineering from University of Washington, Seattle. He was a state board professional engineer. He has done modeling engineering with WA State Department of Ecology, environmental engineering with CDM Smith, Bellevue Office, US, environmental engineering with Environmental Management Center, Mumbai, as independent consultants for Asian Development Bank, World Bank, IL&FS, Punjab Water Supply and Sanitation Board. He is a practicing design engineer since last 2 years and as co-founder of SWA Environmental Consultant and Engineers, which is an environmental company specializing in wastewater treatment and environmental modeling. He's right now, he is founder and CEO of SWA Environmental Consultant and Engineers, Ahmedabad. So we thank you all for joining the panel discussion today. We will start the interaction session. I will invite the panelists to share their view first, and afterwards, at the end of all the panelists' speech, we will be starting the interaction session. So thank you. So we may start. I would invite Ajay first to tell us about the education and job opportunities in USA right now.
Sure, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, Ajay, I can hear you fine.
Okay. Thank you, Yadav sir, and thank you, Damon sir, for this great event. So, and thanks, audience, for joining. So, myself, Ajay, I'll talk about education and job opportunities in USA. So, first, let's talk about engineering for a second, and then we can go into the MBA. So for education, I mean, of course, US is pretty competitive in terms of college and in terms of degree requirements and in terms of getting your education here in USA. And there are like a lot of top universities in US, which is, of course, attractive for a lot of people. And in terms of like getting into education in USA, you'd have to go through some exam requirement, which is GRE, and then you'll have to also do TOEFL and IELTS. And then for MBA, you will have to do GMAT, and then English exam, TOEFL and IELTS. TOEFL and IELTS, they both are same exams. They test your English proficiency, so you can choose either one of them. In terms of like education opportunities, I believe considering all the branches that we have in GEC Surat, we have opportunities for basically all the branches here in US. You would have to pick college based on what you are looking to specialize into, right, and what you are trying to do after your degree here in US. And when you work on your degree requirements, like which type of college you would choose, how would you prepare for those exams, and then how would you go forward. So I have a couple of tips and then a couple of challenges that I have came across. So maybe I can highlight those for a second and give you some of my tips. When you would work on your profile and when you work on your exam, I would like you guys to focus on everything from your career experience, from your educational projects, and then also exams. So a lot of time I have heard people tend to just focus on exams. So just for a second, let's take an example for GRE. So since GRE is a requirement to get into a good engineering college in US, but it's not the only requirement, right? So you have to build your your profile based on all the things that you are currently doing in your bachelor degree. For an example, your projects, for engineering projects, and for some of you who are already working in India, you would have to polish those as well. So do focus on both of them, right? So sometimes you just kind of like divert from your own profile and then focus more on exam, and that kind of derailed it. So I have seen multiple times where people have gotten very good marks in GRE and TOEFL and IELTS, but they did not got into a good university. So which is pretty interesting to me. And then another thing would be is when you work on your profile, you would have to like polish everything to make sure that your application stands out among all the thousands applications. And the reason being is the people who are looking at your profile, um, they are looking at hundreds of applications every day. They are just not looking for one or two, so they can actually make more focus and attention on your profile. They actually look at a lot of information in multiple applications. So if your application is just as usual and general, it won't stand out a lot. Um, and another thing is that scholarship. So a lot of people actually tend to miss scholarship and fellowship, and the reason being is that we a lot of time underestimate ourselves, and then we don't actually apply for those. I would actually highly encourage if any of you are thinking that, hey, shall I go ahead and apply for those? I would just say that go ahead and apply for those regardless of where you stand, right? So you don't need to think about which scholarship you would have to go and then get it. You just go ahead and apply for it, right? So that's another aspect of it. And then when you work on selecting your universities, like which university you want to apply for, think about what do you want to do after your degree in US. That plays a very big role in selecting your university. As an international student, of course, the path is not going to be very easy for you here in US. So you would have to plan your short-term goals and long-term goals. Like what do you want to do as soon as you get here, what type of courses you want to choose, how do you want to finance your education, and then what do you want to do after your graduation. All of that plays a heavy role. Sometimes you can get into a good university like an Ivy League university, but again, the job aspects locally in that region are very bad that you won't be able to get job pretty easily just around your local area. And in US, I mean, sometimes companies do prefer that if the candidate is local, they prefer hiring that person because then they don't have to relocate you from one location to another location. And then they don't have to take the burden of having you fly out to their own plant and do all those sort of activities. So that plays a very big role. And sometimes you can actually volunteer and to actually work with them as a contract, right? So with contract opportunities, you are not actually allowed to go too far out. So if the company is local, then you can actually take advantage of that. So that's very interesting point too. And then just overall in education, if I want to sum up the education system in US, it's highly competitive, but I would say there are a lot of opportunities out here. You would have to decide what you want to do for your education and what specialization you want to pick on. So consider all of that aspects when you are looking out for college. Just don't go based on the ranking of the college. Just don't go based on you think that geographical location is actually attractive. So I would just pick that out of other locations. No, so evaluate it thoroughly. That's very important. And during the COVID time frame, so since we are all going through this situation, I don't think so it is very easy for a lot of people to actually apply for the visa and come here at this point. So a lot of people are actually deferring their admission to the next semester or next quarter, which is basically winter quarter here in US for 2021. But again, I would not discourage you to don't apply for higher degrees here in US just because of COVID. Keep applying, keep applying and keep doing your applications, and then make sure, yeah, I mean, you do it with your front foot forward, and then make sure you do it correctly. Stay in touch with your professor, whosoever you are working here in US with. Sometimes, I mean, if you are going for PhD, of course, you would talk to a lot of professors, and then you would make sure their interests are in alignment with what you want to do. So without taking more time, I would quickly touch base on job opportunities here in US, which is of course one of the popular topic. So right now, because of COVID situation, job market is very tough. I would say it is like 10 times competitive currently compared to what would be the ideal situation is. And again, COVID situation should not discourage you to land you your dream job. And there are a couple of things I can highlight here is if you know what you are doing in your education and you know what you specialize into, it's not going to be that difficult to get your first job. But again, you would have to work hard. You would have to be, I would say, basically a core competitor in your own field to get into the job that you prefer, right? And once you get here in US after getting your degree, I would say you would have to like polish your skills, your resume, and then do a lot of practice before you can actually start doing your interviews. A lot of time people tend to forget that jobs are there, but you are not getting it. So a lot of time people forget that there are like a lot of things goes behind it. How you are presenting yourself, in your resume, right? I mean, like I said earlier, people who look at your documents, they are looking at hundreds of documents every day, right? So how do you stand yourself out, and how do you grasp on that opportunity which is out there? So you would have to do a lot of polishing on your skills and resume to get that. And another important thing is that when you apply for jobs in the US after your graduation, don't just start applying for every job that is out there. Apply only on jobs which aligns with your experience, which aligns with your interest, right? There are two reasons. One, you would end up wasting a lot of your time, and then second, when you go for a job which you really don't like, you won't end up getting it, right? Because again, you just applied it, you just got the job, but again, you would set yourself for failure, which of course you don't want to do, right? So again, job opportunities are here. It is just that you would have to align heavily into what are your interests and how do you get it. COVID situation is of course making it very tough day by day. I hope the situation improves. And again, a lot of people are actually getting their job back. So it's not going to be that difficult in the long run to grab on those opportunities. It's just a short period of time, and I believe we'll get through those easily. Maybe one last thing, PR. I know a lot of people think that when they come here in US, they would be looking for PR, green card. I would say, I mean, right now it's very difficult to say what would happen with the PR situation. A lot of people are actually waiting since last 10 years, and the process is actually going very slow. So I would say keep hope, but again, I mean, just don't bet everything on that yes, you will get the green card just because you are coming here for study and you will get the job. So again, in short, like make your clear short-term and long-term plan when you are thinking about US. Don't just focus on your college, focus on what you want to do after your degree. There are, of course, a lot of jobs which are only reserved for US citizens because of some security clearance, so you won't be able to get it. But again, take your courses, study accordingly, and then again, always keep in mind the market is competitive enough in your core field. So if you can make yourself strong in your core field, there won't be any challenges that you will see. Again, I mean, you are on your driver's seat for your future. So I think if you drive it carefully, I don't think so you should see any major issues. That's basically it about USA.
Thank you, Ajay, for giving us an elaborate vision of what can be the opportunities in US in context of education as well as job. So I would like to invite Shashav Trivedi to say things about this topic in context of Germany.
Hello, very good morning to one and all. Thank you, Vipin sir. Thank you, our principal sir, and very much thank you to Dr. S and SS Gandhi Government Engineering College for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share my experience and information regarding education and employment opportunities in Germany. Thank you all the participants of the panel discussion and all the audience. So today I will brief you about the education and employment opportunities in Germany. So Germany is, I think, very new in the market of the education, but it is already ranked at the number 1 in the European countries, beating the UK and France in recently. So why Germany? I will just give the brief introduction about the Germany. When you heard or when you say the Germany, most of the people think about the modern and very fast roads and highways, very top class cars in the world, and very invention of the world. So all these are the result of the research and technological innovation the Germany has produced. The Germany is also known as the land of the hard workers and the top class inventions. Many of the scientists are from this land. And as most of you know, Germany has become the hotspot for the master aspirants across the globe and in India especially. So why the Germany is ranked at the top 1 in the European countries? Because these rankings are occurred based on the 3 parameters. The first is the quality of the education. The second is the cost of the education. And the third is employment opportunities after the education. So I will focus on these 3 points today. The first question is naturally the quality of the education. When we want to study further, then our first question would be the college kaisi hai or university kaisi hai? How is the education there? So what is the quality of the education? So the quality of education in Germany is really top class. It's world class. What more can you expect from the land who has invented the concept of the research institute? Yes, the first research university of the world is established in Germany in the year of 1386. It is Heidelberg University, and it has produced almost more than 30 plus Nobel Prize winners. The Albert Einsteins and Max Planck are all from that university. Another point is that the people you have hated during our high school, Germany has produced these greatest minds. So yeah, the quality of the education is really top class. The degree of the Germany is valid across the globe in any country. And the variety of the engineering branches and courses are very much in Germany. You have plenty of options. They have specialized like the plastic engineering, polythene engineering, chemical engineering, mining engineering, and electrical and mechanical field also. They are you can find also the overall study also like mechanical and IT engineering, electrical and IT engineering. So there are plenty of options for the engineering branches and universities. The quality of education then goes to the professors, that all the professors are highly experienced in the industry. So in the lectures, you will listen the real life problems of the industry. In the exams also, you will face not only the problems which are there in the books, but you will find the question in the question paper that are the real life problem in the industry. And yeah, it's very challenging, the exams pattern and study. But these are the result of the quality of the education. The professors, the course content of each branch of the engineering is also very dynamic. So I would say the syllabus of the courses are also very changeable in 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years, let's say. The professors and the industrialist meets once in a year. They discuss about the scenario, what are the necessities, what are the requirements of the future for the industry. And the universities and the professors do change the syllabus of the course content. Another thing that meets the quality of the education is the students are supposed to do the internship and the thesis and the projects works during their study. So students have to choose in which company they want to work during their master study or during their bachelor study. They have the option to do the internship. They can break the semester, they can take the break from the semester, and they can just work in the industry also. It will not affect their study. The study is also not the time bounded. So we have almost heard that the master course you should finish in 2 years or 3 years or 1 year, but in Germany there is no time bounded. You can choose the semester, you can choose the exams in which semester you want to give the exams of which subjects, and it's very flexible, but at the same time it's very flexible and it's very challenging. So students have to prepare for it, and with this study structure, students gain the experience also, which they want after their graduation and which will help them. So the quality of the education is right at the top of the German university, and this is the priority of the Germany. So they will not compromise at any cost about the quality of the education for sure. So the second question, after we discussed the college तो अच्छी है, university तो अच्छी है, लेकिन अभी खर्चा क्या होगा? So what is the cost of the education? This is the main second topic for us that we will discuss and we will bother about. But in Germany, I think many of you has read somewhere that the free education in Germany, free education in Europe. And yes, I would say it's right. The Germany is providing free education. That means there is no tuition fee or very less tuition fee, I would say. And the fees they are also taking, it's the semester contribution fee. It's almost 300 euros per semester. So it's around 20 to 30,000 Indian rupees per semester. And there is no tuition fee at all. In Germany, there are almost 500 plus university, but 400 plus universities are the public university, and they don't take any tuition fee from any students. They are just these are just free of cost for the students. You just have to pay your living cost, and that's all. And you have the plenty of opportunities to gain the scholarship also after you come here, or you can apply from the India also. It's very good. And so the cost of the education is not much compared to other countries, and the standard of living in Germany is also very high. So let's come to the third point, that graduation के बाद क्या होगा? Will I get the job or not? उसमें placement है कि नहीं है? Job का scenario कैसा है? So for the employment opportunities, there are plenty of opportunities. But here in Germany, there is no the placement system. Like we heard in India, that the companies do come in the college and they hire the students from the university, but there is no such system in Germany at all. You have to go, you have to apply through each companies in which you are interested. You have to research and analysis of each company's profile, and you can just directly apply without any doubt or without any hesitation. There are plenty of job fairs also occurring. There are government of Germany is also helping us after our graduation to get a job. There are many private agencies which help us to get a job. And so there are plenty of job opportunities in Germany. And the main benefit of the Germany is that after graduation, you will get 18 months of job search visa. So it's like 1.5 year time you have after graduation to get a job. And I think 95 or 99% of the students get a job within this time. Since 5 years I am here in Germany, I never heard, or just one or two friends I heard that they didn't find a job during the time period and they have to leave the country. So yeah, the ratio is very less. The security is very high, and it's said that the 70% or 80% of the master students stay here in Germany. And the question you are bothering about, that the why the cost of the education is very less despite of having the world class, high class quality of the education. It's just say that they have the priority on the education system. They don't want to compromise the education system. And the other thing is that the population of the Germany, the almost 80% of the population of Germany aged more than 65 years. So they are looking for the skilled person. They are looking for engineers who can push their economy forward, and they are very bothered about it. And that's why they have made this education system at free of cost without compromising the quality of the education. And once you get a job, the visa process is very smooth. The permanent residency PR you will get within a 2 year or 3 years maximum. But at the end, the visa process is not a bother you should worry about for the Germany. You just choose the right course, you just choose the right university for you in which you are interested, and then the visa will support you. So I never heard a case that the student has to leave the country because they didn't allow the visa. So you will get the visa for sure. There is no problem at all to get a visa. It's very safe and secure land. And yes, I think that I have covered most of the topics: the quality of the education, cost of the education, and employment opportunities after Germany, after graduation for Germany. And I think in these three sectors, you all are interested. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, Sheshav, for enlightening us about the scenario in Germany. It certainly is one of the most educational friendly country in Europe. I would now like to invite Mitesh Yadav to enlighten us about the scenario in Canada.
Hi, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning for everyone joining us today. And thank you all the participants and students and Yadav sir and Deeman sir for allowing us to speak. I think I'll start with the study options in Canada. I think Ajay covered a lot of the requirements, a lot of entry requirements for the students who wish to come to Canada. I think they're pretty much similar when it comes to US and Canada. Your exam requirements, as Ajay said, I think you have GMAT and GRE and IELTS and TOEFL. When I talk about, I think basically all the Western country, when it comes to Western part of the world, it's US or Canada. Most of the requirements are similar. And I'll touch base on the point where Deeman sir said that there's so many different consultancies that come to the colleges and they present themselves. And it is a lot of marketing. I would say don't trust all of the consultancies. Not all are good and not all are bad. Do your own research. Personally, when I first came to Canada, I applied everything by myself. When it comes to applications in US or Canada or Europe, all the websites that have the information, they're very specific websites by the Canadian government, by the US government, and they usually have very clear indications and very clear instructions as to what forms to fill, where to fill, what fees are there. So there's no hidden charges. So I would say if you do opt for a consultancy, at least do your own research. I have seen some students that have reached Canada and they were misled or whatever miscommunication happened. and they couldn't really go to the university that they wanted, and they were. I've heard stories where students were sleeping, and were sleeping on the bus stops, on the airports. But this is a very rare scenario. It doesn't happen usually. But I would say if you do consult, and if you cannot do something, the application, sometimes it does get a bit hectic. If you cannot do it by yourself, always take help. I think eventually, if someone does want to come to Canada, we can always have a similar platform, and well, hopefully we can clear some of those questions. You can address to me, Ajay, or Seshav personally, and I'm sure every one of us will be happy to address those problems. I'll talk a bit more specifically about different fields of engineering in Canada. I would say, except mechanical, environmental, electrical, computers, civil, all these fields, they're very popular, they're very prominent, and at the same time, the job prospect is very good, especially for the new job seekers. It's very flourishing industry. But why I say not to the mechanical or aeronautical or field related to that, because a lot of manufacturing, a lot of industry, a lot of mechanical, aeronautical based industry is out of US, which is why I haven't seen a lot of friends that I have seen a couple of friends that have actually studying in Canada for mechanical or aeronautical or related field. But I have seen a lot of employers, a lot of employment online, and a lot of employers who have done hirings throughout the years for civil, electrical, environmental, computers. So yeah, that is something when it comes to study options in Canada. I'll quickly talk about specific to environmental engineering students, if there are some, and I'm not sure if there are some, sorry. They're very, as Ajay mentioned, one of the points he mentioned, to align your jobs with your experience. I would honestly say it's not the same in Canada. I've seen so many people that were not of the same field, but are still working with a different sector or different industry. As of myself, I am an engineer, an environmental engineer. Studied 6 years, but I'm working with a totally different field right now. I'm working with forestry department of the state government. I work with logistics company. I work in a restaurant. So I feel like overall, Canada workforce or Canada employment, they're not specific to what you've studied. I feel like there's so much to explore when you go to any country, US, Canada, or Germany. And sometimes I feel like it just clicks, and you're able to transfer your skill set to another industry. And that's what I've noticed with a lot of Indians that have come here. They studied in a different field, but they presented themselves, and they showcased their skill set in a different field. Next, I'll talk about, as I said, Ajay cleared a lot of those points for US and Canada. Again, they are a very similar process when it comes to admission to Canada. You apply for a university. University gives you an admission letter. They accept. You apply for a visa. You get a 2-year student visa. Once you get a 2-year student visa, you get another 3 years after that for finding work. As Seshav said, you get 18 months, I think, in Germany. You get 3 years in Canada, and again, as Seshav said, and it's the same here. I haven't seen a lot of students that have not gotten a job and have not gotten employment in those 3 years. And to be honest, what I have seen people when we come from India, a very great advantage, what I've seen in different industry or worked with, is that we performed really well under pressure, which is something it's hard to see in people from Canada, or people or the American people or the Canadian people. and they are astonished. They're amazed to see us work so well, and I feel like which is one of the very it's very beneficial advantages that our students have. I know at first it's not easy because it's a different country. It's expensive. It's a different work culture. But I feel like eventually, given time, with the 2 years that you study and working with the workforce of Canada, I think it's. I haven't seen anyone that has not survived those first 2-3 years in Canada. I'll quickly talk about. At the same time, I'll talk about the permanent residency and the citizenship. As compared to US or Germany, Canada is much more easier, I would say. Every person that I've met and have come to Canada, they're able to apply for a permanent residency in the next 3 years. And they are permanent residents as of everybody I know that have come from Canada. I myself got a citizenship last year, so it's been about 6-7 years, but it's a very transparent process. There's not a lot of wait time, and there's not a lot of restrictions on where you study or where you work. They're very flexible when it comes to permanent residency, as compared to, I know I have a few friends in US who have to be sponsored by their institution where they work, or they have to be sponsored by their research partners. But in Canada, it's not the same at all. You can apply through a restaurant, you can apply through an industry, you can apply through working in a university, you can apply by yourself, showing Canada that you have that much work experience on your profile. So again, when it comes to permanent residency, they are very flexible. And again, I've seen everyone that I have met that in next 3 years, after coming to Canada, 3-4 years, they are able to get their permanent residency out of their way. I'll talk about education cost and your living expense. I know everybody wants to know how much you spend, or how much is minimum cost requirement when you go to any different country or for higher education. In Canada, I would say your minimum cost is around $20,000 to $30,000, which is about 10 to 15 lakhs. But at the same time, when you come to Canada, students start working part-time and full-time, and of which that cost they are able to cover at least half by working. Which brings me to my next question. Next topic is employment. I'll talk about the past employment and the present scenario both. Past employment, I've seen that most students who first come to Canada, they start working in customer service industry to survive, as to work part-time or full-time. And then eventually they get industry jobs depending on the field they have studied. Now again, for as I am from environmental based studies, I'll just give a quick point about environmental industry. I would say pick your subjects before you come to any university. What I've noticed here, or what I did, and would you call it a mistake or unavailable guidance, however we might put it. I took too many courses from different backgrounds. I studied air pollution, I studied water, I studied landfill management, contaminant hydrogeology, geomatics, but that is not something that helped me getting a job in my field. I would say be specific to the courses you take. When it comes to environmental engineering, I would say air pollution modeling and geomatics are two very big, the prominent sectors when it comes to environmental industry. Water and wastewater is obviously one of the major sectors. That's why I won't talk about that. But air pollution modeling and geomatics are two very prominent sectors in Canada. I've seen any jobs, any job sites, any government jobs I've applied for, most of them always have a geomatic position up there or air pollution modeling. So specific to environmental engineering, this is what I would present for the education scenario. And then sorry, just another point that I'd like to add is I was reading about the other webinar that was by Ayushi, I think, on soft skill development. I think it was about armed forces, but it's very important, I think, for especially for all the students going to US or Canada or Europe. We should take some time and prepare ourselves that how we will carry ourselves. And when I say carry ourselves, I don't mean physically or by clothes or by shoes. I mean, when I say soft skill development, I mean communication. I've seen in any industry, doesn't matter if you're working in a technical industry or customer service or sales or management, it's very important that we know how we carry ourselves. And this is something I feel like the Canadians or Americans, they value that connection. And it's I feel like it's one of the prerequisites or one of the requirements which we should try to build, either talking to our colleagues or books or whatever medium possible. We should try to build that that skill set. And lastly, I'll talk about just quick few points about health. Again, health is during these times of pandemic and during these times of COVID, I feel like health is one of the biggest issues. And I can proudly say that Canada has free healthcare for every person that as soon as he or she lands in Canada. It's basic healthcare is included, unlike I think US is not included healthcare. And for present job seekers in the COVID times, I would say that it is tough. I myself was jobless for about 6 months. I had to take a gap, and then things got rolling again. So things got back to normal. We still have another second wave of COVID, I think, but things are getting back to normal. The industry jobs, I think they're still same as they were before. A lot of management jobs have been cut down, but the industry, the production jobs, the customer service jobs, they're still prominent as they were before. And just one last point. What I really value and what I really focus and I really bold letters when it comes to selling Canada or US or Europe is the resources available to students. And there was a funny discussion or whatever debate. My good friend Yash was welcoming to have, but it was just a friendly gesture. We're talking about resources available to students or to any general public in Western countries. And I feel like for students, your biggest resource is books and information. And I feel like that is abundantly available in countries like Canada. And especially for students background from engineering or biology or commerce or management, I feel like that is something that is disproportionate in India as compared to countries like Germany or Western countries like US or Canada. I remember the first time I came to Canada, we're having a university tour, and we stopped at the library, and I was on the ground floor, and the person says, "Okay, this is the library," and it was a ground floor. It was pretty big, and I was like, "Okay, what's the rest of the building?" And they said that's the whole library. So it was five stories of library, and it was 2 stories underneath. So it was like 8 stories of library. So I'm saying this is not just for my university or for a particular city, any university in US, Canada, or European countries, they focus a lot on these resources that should be readily available to any person. Doesn't have to be a student, doesn't have to be a citizen or a permanent resident. This is something that's accessible to any person. I feel like that is something I really admire about countries like as such as Canada, US, or European countries. And I think I covered everything. But if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Hitesh, for giving us a wide vision of the Canada scenario. So now we'll move on towards the transition thing, and I would like to invite, Ur Patel, who has worked, who has studied in USA and has worked there for some time, and later on moved on to India and worked in Bombay, and now he is running his own company. So I would like to invite him and ask him to say, express what has been his experience in context of our topic today.
Yeah, hello. Hi, sir. Good morning. Thanks for the introduction. I think I would not touch on the small details. I think Ajay and Mitesh has already elaborated that to a very detailed extent, and I would actually touch upon the things like. One of the things which is most important before deciding to apply anywhere outside India, or I mean anywhere in the world, is you need to have a purpose. You need to decide like whether I really want to go there and study, and you are not following any bandwagon or anything like that. So the first thing, don't write the statement of purpose just for the university's course. Write it for yourself. Write it so that you mean it. I mean, it's not that like one of your classmates is going to the US or Germany or I don't know anywhere else. You need to be sure that you really want this. You need to be sure what is your ultimate goal, and then you need to decide where you want to go. And actually, these small little details of which exams to study for, what needed to be focused, I think you can find it anywhere. But the most important thing is you need to have a sense of purpose of going there, and you need to define what you really want to get the outcome from this education at abroad. For me, I would say I actually was very frank in my statement of purpose. I really wrote that after a couple of years of experience, I am going to be back in India and going to start practicing here. And that is what I eventually did. So regarding the employment opportunities there, Ajay has rightly pointed out, you need to focus on everything ranging from your academics as well as your internships and experiences. But the most important thing is you need to pick a specialization, and you need to excel in that at your academics, and also do some research projects with professors and all, so that you can stand out in the 100 and 150 applications which are compared along with yours. So yes, I mean employment and education there. You need the bottom line is I would say you need to be sure like what you really want in your life, and then you decide. Of course, education there, it is par excellence, and there is no comparison. Even if you go to the IITs and you go to a second tier or tier 1 universities in the US or Germany or anywhere else in the Europe or the North Americas, it will excel in the quality of education, in the resources. Of course, that goes without saying. And at the end of the day, even if you choose to study, get your higher education in India, your ultimate outcome would only depend as good as you want to excel in your studies, and as good as you want the desire that I really want to reach here, I really want to join this organization, or your 10-year or 30-year goal. So what matters is that your goal, your statement of purpose. Study anywhere, but you need to be clear in your vision, and I think everything else will really fall in place. I would also like now touch upon, like, after returning to India from the US, I started here at an environmental engineering firm in Mumbai. I worked there with several couple of development banking organizations like Asian Development Bank and all. So I had a very vast exposure working from countries like Indonesia, Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. So we had variety of experience all across the world. So I would say it's not important to it's not important where you work, but at the end of the day, it should be fulfilling, and you need to be satisfied with what you have achieved. So yeah, I mean, that's I think the crux of what I wanted to say here. And of course, after discussion, after the question answer session, I'm glad to answer it.
Okay, thank you. We'll come back to you for answering one question which I have in mind. But before that, I would invite Yash Shah to say about the topic today.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much, Deeman sir, Yadav sir, and the college for having this discussion today. And it is really good to see all my friends here that I have studied with and been with in my engineering days. So actually, I have not been to USA, I have not been to Canada, I have not been to Germany, and I do not really know about what these places have to offer. What I know about is that what India has to offer. I have studied in India. I have done my engineering in India. Then I got my first job placement from Government Engineering College, Surat. And I think I was, one of the few to be placed from the college itself. And I got a good exposure to work in Godrej & Boyce. I would just like to share two or three experiences that I've had. First is about education. Now, when we entered in college, the college was really different from what it is now. There was only one building, few resources. But as you can all see, everyone today, and all five of us have made it to some place today and are at some level today in our lives. And that is somehow also because of the college we were in. So we saw the college grow, we saw the developments happen, and we have had that struggle, which has made us grow to the level that we are today. So in education, the higher the struggle, I feel, the better it is for you. It makes you a better person, and you get to learn a lot with the struggles that you have. So that is one thing about education. Resources, I would say, yes, there are better resources in the US, in the Canada, and Germany. But I would say that it is important how much of the resources do you want to utilize. I remember we had a very good library in Surat, the Narmad Library, which Urv used to visit quite often, and because of him, I also went there. Mitesh also went there. So there were a lot of books for every subject. It's important how much you are going to utilize. So even if you have a lot of resources, how much you utilize is more important than the resources that you have. So that is about education. Secondly, coming on the work culture and the work that I've had here, work experience that I've had here in India, I think all my friends have covered a lot, and we are running short on time. So I would just say one or two things. I was first working in Godrej & Boyce. And to share my experience, after 1 year, I was really frustrated with my job. I really did not know what to do. In Mumbai, I was working in Mumbai, so I had to change about 3 houses. And that was really frustrating for me. So I was thinking of coming back when I had a talk with my dad, with some of my colleagues. And they said that in 1 year, you don't learn anything. So it's really important to stick around. You cannot just go and leave a job frequently. So I stayed there for one more year, and I really learned a lot during that second year. That was a very crucial year for me. If I had not, been there in the second year, I think I would not have had any experience of Mumbai or working in Mumbai. So it is very important to stick around. And after that work experience, I decided to move to Ahmedabad and join my family business, which was a completely different field, which was a completely different subject. But I still decided to join. And when I joined this business, I made a commitment to myself that come what may, I'll stay here for 5 years. 5 years is the time that you need to reach some level, to understand the subject thoroughly, and only then you can think of moving somewhere else. So such commitments need to be made in whatever work you do. So like I've done engineering, and then I've done my MBA while I was working in Ahmedabad. I did my evening MBA from BK School of Business Management, which was a 3-year course. So I used to work from 9 to 6 in the morning, and then from 7 to 10 I attended college for 3 years. But that has been a very fulfilling experience for me. I would say that engineering has also been very fruitful to me, the learning experience, and MBA has equally been very fruitful to me. And I think when you are doing an MBA, I think you should do an MBA after having some amount of work experience, because that helps a lot. So you get to come and interact with a lot of people who are maybe elder to you, younger to you. So always try to do an MBA after some work experience, and that will help you better understand the MBA process. I think that is all from my side, sir. We are running short on time, so we can just move on to the question and answers.
Yeah, thank you, Yash. We got an insight that education quality in India itself is very good. So there are few parameters, few things which everybody is thinking on for a student who is planning to have a higher education or move for a job opportunity. We must analyze and compare currently what is the scenario in place they want to go or they want to stay back in India. So quality wise, if we see, education is quite good in India and at par with many number of Western countries which we are trying to move on to. But job opportunities, they keep on changing. And sometimes the field you want to work in, they have not grown up in India. For example, aerospace engineering, like Ajay, he wanted to go into the aerospace engineering, which was virtually not a non-existent in India right now or that time. So he had to move on and go to the countries so that he can pursue his own dream. So if you have that kind of dream and you want to pursue and the opportunities are not available in India, it's definitely an option to consider moving out. But otherwise, education and job, we have having good opportunities in India also. So we will have a discussion on this, and we will open the forum for interaction. But before that, I would like to ask Urv to share his view why he decided to move back to India, because most of the people who go out for education and try to stay back and do the job there itself. So taking this decision, coming back to India was certainly important. Yes, Urv. Urv, am I audible?
Sir, I think on a lighter note, I asked him to come back, and that is why he came back.
Okay. All right. So we will now open the forum for discussion. I'll request panelists to switch on the camera so that people can have the view. And if any participants have any questions, you may ask directly. Meanwhile, I'll just read out the questions. Whoever want to answer on that. What will be the advantages of GATE examination in job opportunities and demand in other countries? We have with us Bhuva sir also, who is a keen observer and activist in education field. So if any questions sir would like to answer, sir, I would request you to answer the questions.
So thank you very much, Yadav sir, for giving me opportunity. So I would also like to ask the Urv Patel why he choose return back. Okay, but a similar question from in my mind, and I agree with the discussion point from yours also. And I would like to ask abroad alumni, yours and others, that what we can do as an education field, having lots of experience. at India, but after studying abroad, can you suggest some points what we can do in India that our youth, the future of India, need not require to move abroad, and they can do as per their wish in India itself? Because why ask this question? Because at my time when I completed my BA at 1992, I got opportunity to for USA also, but I don't want, because I want to do something for my country. So that is why the same scenario is in my mind, and currently I am working on that field by running the different club, Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat Club, Integrated Personality Development Club. So I want to know what we can do at our side in India that our youth need not require to go outside. And another thing I noticed that resources are available everywhere, but how to use is important. So it depends upon the student how to use it. So can you give some point from your experience from abroad, maybe Germany, US, and Canada? Even though I have lots of my friend at different countries, so but they're giving some feedback. But I want to know from your side some suggestion that we can have that much atmosphere in India that we need not require to go abroad. Saisau, from your side first.
I think it's a very good question to ask, but I would say that the answer is also would be very long and very descriptive. So I think for that question only, we should conduct a new webinar or new discussion.
Can I discuss personally with you?
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
Okay. So, okay.
Exactly. The Sheshav, I think the answer is quite appropriate, and the question is naturally a burning question. What sir has said, it definitely is to be pondered upon. But as Sheshav has mentioned, it's a completely and immersive topic, and we will have a lot of time to discuss on that thing. So all the countries have got something positive and negative, and we have to choose what we are deciding for. So any participant who have the question? I think there are some queries in the chat box, but most of the queries have been answered directly by the respective speakers. So if anyone has any query directly who want to ask and discuss, please unmute yourself and you can ask. Sheshav, there is a question regarding Germany. Can you see that?
Keval has asked that the GATE score is mandatory for the Germany. I would say yes or no, both, because only few of universities, as far as I know, only 2 universities I know that they ask for the GATE scores, and rest are not. And for the scholarship opportunities, there are plenty of opportunities. I mentioned the one website, dad.de. There you will find all the details about the scholarship, all the universities details, all the course contents, and all the process.
There was a question from Vishal. What will be the advantage of GATE examination? Is there any advantage of GATE examination while applying for education in Germany, as it is said? Any advantage? I mean, yes, some universities might be asking it, but does it provide any advantage?
I think for the competitiveness, to just filter out the application, they have put this criteria for that university so that the number of application they will receive is limited, and so they have to sort out the application there itself.
Yeah. At the same time, we must realize GATE is a exam conducted by Indian organizations only. Even though it's very high quality and certainly the quality standards are acceptable in number of countries, it definitely does not come up at the global standards for most of the countries. So when we are talking about the admission criteria for number of universities in different countries, IELTS and GRE and all these exams are still the standard method of selection. So it would be suggested to focus more on these exams if you are planning to go in the foreign country for study purpose. Yeah, any other question any participant has? Yes, you want to add something?
Sir, I think Raj Gami has asked a very good question, and maybe Shaishav, Mitesh, or Ajay can answer that. It's a very important question, and I've seen my sister also struggling for the first year. So, if you could answer it.
Yeah, Mitesh, Ajay.
Hi, sir.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's the question regarding the expenses, right? How first we manage as students. I feel like for any student, your parents are the first resource, your first source of financial help, and that's what it was for me. Um, as an individual, I think I tried to get help for the first year for the tuition fees, and I feel like the first year is the hardest because it's the first time you go to a different country, and it's the language barrier, the work condition is different than what compared to India or compared to the other countries. And so what I did was I took help from my parents. I asked them to help me with the first or the second semester, the tuition fees. And when it came to living expense, as I mentioned one of the conversations. Um, Usually, the students when they go to the different country, they do easily. I mean, of course, it's the first job for a few of us, so it's harder maybe at first. But in a few months or so, I've seen most of the students are able to work part time. Usually, summer or the summer. When I say summer, the month of April to August. There's no universities of people. The students can work full time. They can work 8-10 hours a day. They usually they're students. They're very hardworking. They work full time, and they try to get as much financial help as they can through their jobs. So as I said, they are able to help, and they're able to support at least half that half the financial burden we have first year, and so forth. That's how I did. There are other mediums. I think you can get RAs, you can get TAs, teaching assistantships, research assistantships, where the professors they give you some responsibilities. For example, grading papers, doing some assignments, taking a few classes for them, and then the university pays you for that. So I feel like this is one of the two mediums. Students work part-time in local fields like restaurants, the customer service, and the university funded medium. I think those are the two that I know of.
Yeah, thank you, Mitesh. Ajay, you want to add on to that question? The question has been asked by Raj Gami, how to manage the expenses for first couple of years.
Yep, I think Mitesh covered it pretty well. It's very similar between Canada and USA. So I can just quickly summarize what I did. So for the first year expenses, just my expenses, my housing expenses, my food expenses, I got that for my first semester from my home. But after that, I actually struggled enough to land a good job on campus. So basically, you have a lot of opportunities on campus. You just have to you just have to apply for those and make sure you stay on top of all the opportunities that comes along. And after working on my first job, which was like a grader, I think the same thing that Mitesh covered. And the other job actually I was able to get on campus was a full-time job, which was pretty good for me, which not a lot of people get into. So I mean, that full-time job was basically helping with a professor doing a lot of internal university work, and I was working like full-time 40 hours a week in addition to my coursework. So it's very similar between what Mitesh covered. And again, I mean, with US, I think you are also allowed to take a co-op program. So for those who are interested in the US, there is a co-op program with some universities where you can apply for jobs nearby companies where from the first day of your college in US, you can actually go out and work 20 hours a week. So that's basically part-time work. So which is a pretty attractive thing with some of the universities too. And maybe last thing is, I mean, you may not be able to cover all your expenses in US because it's pretty expensive out here. I think per semester costs about 10 to 15,000 US dollars. And then again, you have 2 semester, or sometimes you have 3 semester or 3 quarters in a year, and that will cost you probably like 20 lakh. So you may not be able to cover that, but again, as you start putting your first step towards your part-time job, you may be able to grasp on some outside opportunities, part-time opportunities with some companies, and from there you can start building upon your finances.
Yeah, thanks, Ajay. I think it was informative. And as Ajay and Shashav and Mitesh has explained, different scenarios for fees and survival during the initial period of education as well job. So some kind of job struggle is there for some people in some branches. Many a times you are lucky, and even the recession undergoing streams also get good job opportunity. So it's a dynamic scenario. You cannot just go by one experience or 2 experiences, but you have to be prepared for all kind of experience. That's the trap. So if you are moving out, as Yash has highlighted, sticking to some kind of job or some kind of situation for considerable period of time so that you can get experience, which is very important in initial period of time. So it will definitely help you in the future course of your career. So that is very important. Sticking to one particular thing which you choose for some time. So any other question, if anybody has, we can have that question.
Sir, I think if I can add something on the question, is it okay?
Yeah, please do.
So I think all of you have asked about the struggle, financial struggle that you face when you go to outside countries. I think there is a cultural difference between India and the other countries. There, what happens is after college, the kids are on their own, and they know the struggle from the very first day. Here, a lot of us are dependent on our parents for our expenses, and maybe if you even staying in India, if you really want to be on your own, build yourself, then you should try to do a job, cover up for your expenses, and then I think that struggle will help you a lot. So like in our times, a lot of people were not did not get a job from the college itself. So many of them took whatever job was available to them, and then gradually shifted to their jobs on the field. So it is important to not stay idle and do something and try to earn rather than just sitting idle and doing nothing. So the best idea that everyone should apply is that do something or the other that helps you earn at least a little, which will help you survive. And then I think gradually you can move to the jobs in your own field.
Yeah, that was a wonderful input, Yash. I think it's very appropriate. Anyone else who want to add something to it? Or you have any other questions to discuss? All right. So thank you, everyone. I think most of the queries have been answered. The motive to have this session was to give the information from the reliable sources. Now we know we have a lot of travel bureaus, admission facilitation centers, and number of such things. But we always have in our back of mind that there may be hidden interest behind that. Right, so we may not be sure what is the actual scenario when we are moving to the some country. So our aim to have this session was to make you aware of the real things, what as a student you would be facing, and what you can expect when you move out to these countries. Right. So I would like to thank everyone. Just a second. So I would like to thank our principal, sir, for encouraging and supporting us to conduct these programs. I would also like to acknowledge the support and hard work of alumni committee members for putting efforts to connect the stakeholders. I would convey our deep appreciation to our panelists today for joining us from different time zones of the globe to make this event worthwhile for many. At last, I thank all participants for joining and making our purpose justified. So we hope today's interaction session provided you useful information for career decisions, and we wish you bright learning and good health ahead. So thank you, everyone. We have already shared the information of the panelists, which you can see in the chat box. Those who want to know more about any of the countries and further process, you can connect to them through the emails. Yeah, Yasin. Yeah, the Yasin is the student who has joined in our college recently as AMI first year student of water resource engineering. So if any of you want to answer his question, it would be good.
Yes, I would like to answer his question that yes, once you finish your study in India, whatever from the bachelor or master, you will have a chance to get a job here in Germany. Many of the Indians are coming here just for a job. So yeah, chances are there.
I think personally, I think what I've seen from a lot of candidates that have did their masters in India and they've tried to come to Canada, there are a few specific requirements where you have to get. As I think Urv is EIT from his engineering training. There are few registrations that every candidate that comes from a country who's done their education in a different country, I think they have to get a certain registration done with the government of Canada or government of US, and that's after that I think you can start working for a field. But again, directly coming to any country, I think it's only possible if an employer here sponsors you for a job offer, and hopefully sponsors you for your PR. But I feel like I don't know if during these times it seems pretty slim right now, as the employment itself right now for the Canadians itself is or US or Americans or during these times. But yeah, I think the basic process is for an employer to sponsor you to come to Canada or US.
Just to maybe add for US, I think for US it won't be possible to complete the education and get a job in US. There are some immigration challenges for just specifically for US. There are multiple ways. I mean, there are multiple hoops that you can jump and then get the job here. Basically, if you want to, if you don't want to study in US and get a job directly, then first you will have to get a job in India for the company who has their office in US and have them sponsor you to come to US. That's basically one way to go after. The another way would be if you apply directly, but that won't be possible because they won't sponsor you directly from India or from US. So the last resort will be to just come here on a student visa, get your degree, and then get a job here. That will be the easiest, and that's basically what everyone prefers to do.
Yeah, thank you, Ajay. Yes, you want to add something in?
Sir, actually, regarding the foreign countries, I don't think I have much to add. So, Mitesh, Shaishav, and Ajay have already covered, and I think Urv would also be having the same opinion.
Okay. All right. So I think most of the questions and queries have been answered, and this is something which is a perpetual question. We understand that, And this session has only been an informative session. That's why we have shared the email address of all the panelists here. And those who are interested to know more about the particular country or in general, you can mail to them and they will be certainly helping us. So I would like to thank on behalf of Principal Sir and the Alumni Committee, all the participants here, to all the panelists who have joined us from so far away places at all kind of odd times, I understand. And this has been a very useful session. And I would like to say, on a personal note, I would again say thanks to everyone, because you have made it possible after a long time of efforts and planning. So finally, we could manage the time together and just do it. So that's a nice thing. We'll be converting more sessions so that it can be informative, and you can work as a guiding force to new students who are passing out and looking for the right career options. So thank you, everyone. We conclude here. We wish you good health and a good day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ravi.